Hey everyone, I'm Joey. If you're anything like me, my goals as a teenager and young adult were to have fun, not work too hard, and positively benefit others. This is a pretty good goal throughout life. However, I didn't take the time to educate myself when I was younger about topics like history, politics, retirement, and credit. In this video, I'm going to share with you the things that I wish I knew when I was younger about credit. This knowledge will benefit you right now and for the rest of your life, so lend an ear to help out your current and future self. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video. It helps my channel and it helps other people find this information as well because YouTube promotes the videos with more likes. Hitting that like button below this video is a small, great way you can help support me in my mission of making finance simple, entertaining, and informational. Thank you for helping me out in that way. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for some more finance and Hawaii adventure content. Let's get started. What is credit anyway? Credit is like the report card of your life. It lets other people know how responsible you've been with paying back what you owe on time. When you are credited for achieving something, like an invention or a scientific find, that's an acknowledgement of your achievement. You are credited with that achievement. If you receive a credit from a store, that's money that the store owes you. It's a credit to you. Credit card companies lend you money. You don't have to have any money in order to use a credit card, but it's very important for you to pay off your credit card in full on time in order to stay out of debt. If you do that, you receive good credit. If you don't pay it back, 1, you're in debt, 2, you're gonna have to pay back more than you borrowed in the first place because of interest, and 3, it lowers your credit score. When you receive extra credit on a test, those are points that can benefit your score positively if it satisfies your teacher's expectations, but it doesn't count against you if you leave it blank or you get it wrong. So credit is a public acknowledgement that anybody can see of how well you've paid what you've owed. Similar to extra credit on a test, if you never owe anybody money, you can't build any credit. If you don't fill in that extra credit answer, it's impossible for that to deduct from your final score, but it's also impossible for you to get anything extra on your score. It's highly unlikely that you won't run into any sort of credit in your lifetime because you're gonna need a roof over your head, and a lot of times that's done through an apartment complex or a landlord that you pay every single month to live in a property that puts a roof over your head that landlord or apartment complex owns. A way to avoid credit is to live in a place that nobody owns. These places include in a tent in the woods on public lands, in the middle of the ocean on a sailboat, or on the North and South Poles. And if you're fine living under a highway bridge, you won't have to worry about building credit. Good luck surviving on your own. I wish you well. However, if you plan to live in society like a normal human being, you're going to build credit because you're going to need to pay for housing. The reason we have to pay for housing is because someone spent their time and money building this structure that keeps us safe during storms, cold weather, and super hot weather. When you pay your credit cards and your rent in full on time, it builds good credit for yourself. Not paying what you owe on time will build bad credit for yourself. Your credit score can range from 300 to 850. This is the equivalent of 0 to 100% on a test. Your credit score will fluctuate along the spectrum of 300 to 850 depending on how well you pay back the things that you owe. And whether or not you like school or not, good grades are an assessment and an acknowledgement that you had the right answers on the test when it was asked of you. Whether you cheated or you actually learned the material, you had the answer when it was asked of you. Side note, it's absolutely true that cheating in school is only cheating yourself. Learning is so important to developing our mindset and worldview, and the more that we learn, the more that we can achieve in our lifetime. Whether that's different arts and being creative, or whether that's making money, or whether that's traveling, or politics, or science, or literally anything else. Learning is extremely important, and even if you don't like how something's taught to you, go ahead and learn it yourself because that is what's really going to benefit you. It doesn't matter who the teacher is. It matters what you take from the material and how you use that to benefit yourself and the others around you. We should all continue learning throughout our entire lives, so find what interests you and keep learning about it. Also keep learning about different topics that you don't know about. Your future self will thank you. I'm looking at myself 10 years ago as an 18-year-old saying, man, I wish I knew these things when I was 18 so that I could be farther ahead in life. Here's what I wish I knew regarding credit 10 years ago. Our credit score is like our life's report card of how well we've paid back what we owe on time. If you ever want to buy a house or a car that you don't have money for, you're going to need to borrow money in order to make these big purchases. If you have a low credit score which shows that you're bad at paying people back on time, there's not going to be many people wanting to lend you money. Whether that's the bank or a car dealership or a private lender, if you ever want to buy something that's out of your price range, you're going to need to establish good credit to prove to a lender that you're actually going to pay them back on time. The same thing can go for personal relationships. If you're bad at paying back your friends, they may not want to lend you money anymore and could develop some bitterness towards you. I've personally seen how finances have ruined families and friendships, so my personal mindset on lending money to family and friends is to just expect to never receive it back. My relationships with my family and friends are way more important to me than them paying back money, and I want to make sure to keep my relationships and mindset healthy in that way. By assuming that I'll never receive that money again, it helps just let go of any bitterness that could eventually creep into my mindset. On a similar note, whenever someone lends me money when I'm in need, first I decide, is this a gift or is this something that they want me to pay back? If it's a gift, I don't owe them anything, and I'm going to receive that gift for what it is and appreciate my friend for giving that gift to me. If it is something that they're going to want me to pay back, I make sure to make reminders on my phone, send myself an email to make sure that I pay that person back as quickly as I can. I've seen firsthand and heard that finances are a #1 cause of divorce in marriages, of split friendships, of divided families, and I want to make sure that I am not in those statistics. So my goal as a business owner is to pay my employees as soon as possible. When I was an employee, there were times that I wish my employer would have paid me sooner. Relationships are more important than money, so be wise with your money to alleviate tension and potential stress in your relationships. If you're currently in debt, your #1 financial goal should be to get out of debt. It's easy to save and to get out of debt at the same time with the correct habits. Here are 5 ways to get out of debt, start saving, and building your credit score. #1, know where you're spending your money. This might be overwhelming at first, especially for those who don't necessarily like math, but you absolutely have to do this. Look at your bank accounts, checking and saving. Look at all of your credit card reports. The next thing would be to categorize your expenses. This can be categorized into online shopping, fast food, utilities, everything to do with your car, like car payments, insurance, repairs. Categorize everything that you spend. This is going to help you know where your money is coming from with your income and where your money is going. Most people only have a few sources of income. Full-time job for me, part-time job for me, full-time job for my wife's part-time job, and our side hustle together. This is your monthly income, and you should know exactly how much you have coming in monthly from all of your income sources. This will give you a good overview of everything that you have in income and everything you have in expenses. The first step is knowing how much you have coming in and how much you have going out. Step 2 is lowering your expenses. After you've categorized your expenses, determine what you can eliminate completely or at least cut back a lot on. Shopping and fast food can pretty much be completely eliminated. If you're in debt, you should not be shopping and you should not be paying someone to make food for you. Out of these categories, what areas can you cut back on? Is it canceling a few subscriptions? Is it cutting back on your water and electricity usage? Do you need to sell a car and start using public transit or sharing a car with a spouse or riding your bike if you live close enough to work? Get creative with how you lower your expenses. I have a video of 15 different ways to save money on everyday items if you're interested in learning on how to cut back on your expenses. #3, pay off your debt. Out of all the money that you end up saving from cutting back on your expenses, put 75% of that towards paying off your debt. #4, save your money. With the other 25% that you're saving from cutting back on your expenses, put that into a savings or investment account. 25% of everything you're saving on cutting back on expenses. This will help you save money and grow your wealth in the long run. And #5, increase your income. Many people take on another job to increase their income, and although yes, it does increase your income, it takes up your time. If you have kids and a family and other responsibilities, this may be difficult to fit into your schedule. Another option is to start a business and start making some income with a side hustle. This could be learning a skill on YouTube and selling your product or service like I did. You could buy pallets full of electronics from overstock warehouses and sell them on eBay. You can buy Craigslist items or pick up the free items on Craigslist and later sell those on Facebook Marketplace or add value to them by fixing them or adding accessories and reselling them on Craigslist. If you have a closet that's absolutely completely full of clothes, you can sell your clothes on eBay or OfferUp or Craigslist, or even bring them into stores like Plato's Closet, which will pay you for your nice clothes. Money-making opportunities are limited only to your imagination, and they can be done on your own time. I highly recommend learning other ways of making money besides taking on another job, because that will take up your time. And the one thing that every single person on earth has is a limited amount of time. That's why I value time more so than I value money. Anybody can make as much money as they want, but we all have a limited amount of time on this earth. Regardless of how you make that extra money, use that to pay off your debt. Once your debt is paid off, save the extra income that you've made with your side hustle. The key to getting out of debt and growing your wealth is to lower your expenses and increase your income. If someone makes $200,000 a year, but they spend all of that money at bars and clubs or staying in hotels or going on fancy vacations, they are no better off at the end of the year than they are in the beginning of the year. However, someone who makes $40,000 a year and saves $5,000 of that, they have $5,000 at the end of the year, whereas the person who made $200,000 a year doesn't have anything. Yeah, they lived it up for a year and that's great, but what if something like, a pandemic happens and that guy who's making $200,000 a year loses his job? He has no backup plan. But the person who makes $40,000 a year and has $5,000 saved up, if they get laid off, they have $5,000 that they can use on groceries and rent for the next couple months for their family. So I highly encourage you to lower your expenses and increase your income. Once you make a habit of doing this, you'll begin to see how much stress this can relieve and how much more freedom you have in your life. So what does credit actually affect in our lives? Pretty much everything. So here's a list from credit.com of everything that your credit score affects. Number 1, employers. If you're applying to get a job at a corporate company, they're going to run a background check on you, and a lot of times that includes your criminal records and your credit score. So before you even start working for this company, your employer is going to know how well you manage your money. Number 2, landlords. When you're applying for an apartment or a place to live, your landlord or property manager is going to need to know that you're going to pay rent on time when it's due. People with low credit scores can often be required to pay a higher security deposit because this could make the landlord afraid that the tenant that they're putting in their property will not pay their rent on time. Number 3, a mortgage. Buying a house is potentially the largest investment that you'll make in your lifetime. If you have a bad credit score, your interest rates could be higher. And over the course of 30 years, that higher interest payment could be anywhere from 10 grand to 50 grand. So it's definitely worth working on your credit score before buying a house. Number 4, cell phone companies. Some cell phone companies can deny you plans for a low credit score. They can also make you pay higher initial deposits for more expensive phones. Number 5, bank accounts. This is a financial institution, so of course they're going to check your credit score. This may limit you to only hold your money in certain banks or credit unions. Number 6, credit cards. Firstly, credit card companies make a ton of money off of credit card interest. Many of these companies will even let you continue opening different credit card accounts because they know you're eventually going to have to pay that money back. And if you don't pay that money back on time, they can charge you 15% interest. That means if you borrow $100, you're not only going to have to pay that $100 back, but you're going to have to pay an extra $15 on top of that just for not having the money up front in the first place to buy that item that you just bought for $100. If you don't have the money to buy something, do not buy it. It's a slippery slope and a dangerous game to play to buy something when you think that you're gonna have money coming in, but you don't actually have money in your account, because happens. Pandemics happen. Layoffs happen. Emergencies and accidents happen. You may need that money that's coming in for something else, but if you just bought something with money that you didn't have, that's now going to put you into debt. If you're in debt, do not open another credit card. Pay off what you owe by decreasing your expenses and increasing your income. Number 7, insurance agencies. Whether this is life insurance or home insurance or auto insurance or whatever kind of insurance you're getting, a worse credit score will lead to higher rates for you, and that's not a good thing. Number 8, student loans. Private student loan lenders could charge you higher for a lower credit score. And number 9, utility companies like water, electricity, and gas. These companies have access to your credit score, and if you haven't been paying your other bills, your utilities may be shut off earlier than someone who has a good credit score because they generally pay their bills on time. The moral of the story is get out of debt and work towards good credit because it impacts just about every area of your life. I hope this has been helpful. Don't forget to like this video if you got anything positive from it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for some more finance and Hawaii adventure content. If you want some free stocks, check out the links in the video description. And if you want access to exclusive content like finance worksheets, my stock spreadsheets, and my personal finances, check out my Patreon. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Joey. Talk to you soon.